Hello and welcome everyone to day one of Psychic School. I'm Charlene Murphy, the founder of Enchanted Empath, and I am so excited to share Psychic School this year on YouTube so that everybody can join in who wants to. Yes, so it is the season of the psychic, and I really get into the whole exploration of psychic phenomenon and really going over the basics again during the Burr months when the days get shorter and a little bit darker. That's the time for me to really get into this and to share all of the information that I have, because it's good stuff, and help you develop your psychic senses, develop and grow your intuition, your ability to manifest, your ability to self-heal. All of these things are within your power. So today we're diving into the first topic I think is the foundation of all things psychic, which is the third eye chakra. So we're going to explore the power of the third eye chakra, why it's important, and especially why it's important in psychic development. But first, I want to tell you something that you may not believe, or that you may not have ever heard, or maybe didn't believe it for yourself. But consider this: you were born psychic. You were born psychic. I know this in my bones. I know that it is part of the human condition. It's not such a special faculty that is only available to the chosen few. It is available to everyone, and everyone has intuition and the same potential for psychic abilities as the next person. Now, I happen to be much more practiced in this, right? I have been studying psychic phenomenon for many years, majority of my life, and I have put a lot of things to practice, put a lot of things to the test, and I've learned a few things in the along the journey. And one of the things that I have come to realize is that it really is a practical human faculty. And when I first started my journey, it was much more mysterious and much more woo. And the more I practice and see, I really see how our intuition and our psychic senses are built in for each and every one of us for many reasons. It's primarily our GPS system. It's an internal GPS system that keeps us safe. It keeps us in a place of navigating our lives around people, around situations, around places where we all have those spidey senses, and we can feel, or we can see, or we can, discern that the energy around us is not safe, or that there's something off. Everybody has experienced that, right? And it is, again, part of the human condition. So my job here in my practice is to bring this information back down to earth and to help people realize and remember their inner brilliance. You are so equipped. Most of us have no idea how equipped you really are, and always have been, right? So remember when you were a kid. When you were a kid, you didn't question your intuition. You weren't even aware of your intuition. You just were flying by the seat of your pants with intuition. It was your guiding light. So, for example, a family relative wanted to give you a hug and a kiss, and there was just something off about them. And you were like, no. And then your parents made you because you were being impolite, right? Or at least that was how my generation was raised. And now I'm seeing a lot more parents who are much more aware of this phenomenon, and they trust what their children feel and perceive, and they don't push them in those directions. So it's really refreshing to see the younger generations really embracing psychic phenomenon. They might not even call it that, but they're respecting a person's response to people, places, and things. That's the psychic senses at play. So we all have them. We've all been using them. We continue to use them, even though some of you may feel like you're very blocked. But you are assessing people, places, and things, situations all the time, all the time. And so imagine if you can tap in to your psychic senses and use them more deliberately, more on purpose, more with intention. Then you can start to move worlds. You can read people, you can read information, you can go gather information, you can be a channel for that information. So sky's the limit once you start to open yourself up to this reality. I don't even want to call it a possibility because it is your reality. And if we crack it open even more so and play with it and expand it and believe it, then you can really live a life of power, of grace, of strength, of faith, where a lot of your fears will be alleviated. Because here's why. When people are not living a psychic life or leveraging their intuition for information, they're being led by all kinds of information that is somebody else's agenda. Look at the world of politics. Enough said. But if we don't use our own spidey senses, if we don't leverage our own intuition, then you just become vulnerable to all of the crazy that is floating around in the ethers. I know that you have felt that. I know that I have felt that. So part of my work is self-care in staying aligned with my own intuition and really tuning out a lot of the noise. And that's a part of the process. So the foundational tool for all of this is really leveraging and tuning into your third eye chakra. Your third eye chakra is an amazing and often misunderstood, still somewhat mysterious energy center. And that energy center is located right between your eyebrows. And it is connected to your pineal gland in your brain, which is the gland that keeps your brain in cohesion or what's the word? Connected with the rhythms of nature, basically. And it also produces melatonin and helps you sleep. And so it's really interesting, the correlations between the pineal and the third eye, they're the same, and the worlds that they navigate, the worlds that they govern, basically. So when we think about the third eye, we think about the seat of your inner knowing, the seat of imagination, the seat of the intuition, you know, where all of the answers and information is, where your spiritual insight, dreams, all of that is it's the home for all of it. And so when you become very well versed in your third eye chakra and you can connect with it and flip it on at will and use it for certain purposes, and during the whole season of the psychic, you will learn how to do these things step by step in different tools and technologies. But just today, I want to help you really embrace your third eye chakra and how it governs your intuition, your imagination. These are the two most important faculties in my world. I do know that nothing can come into the world without it first originating in your imagination, right? The imagination is the portal to all things manifested, all things. Nothing existed before imagination. So that's the key thing. And when your imagination is on fire, when you activate your imagination, You become a really powerful manifester. You become a really powerful self-healer and healer of others because you can vision it, you can see it. And as you know about the law of attraction, which is another topic we'll talk about in depth later, you, whatever you're focused on, you are activating it, you're growing it, right? So the imagination is huge, and it is one of the biggest aspects of your third eye chakra. So let's try to, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but let's try to see the third eye chakra as something that is less mysterious and less only available to fortune tellers and things like that. Let's change the narrative about that and know that you are equipped with your third eye chakra. I'm equipped with the third eye chakra, and we don't ever need to be afraid of it. So dispelling all the fears, dispelling all the myths, just breaking this stuff down to be a normal part of our human development, our human condition, and then leveraging it to create the magic that is available to us when we do. That to me is the fun of being this spiritual being in a human body, right? So talking about the human body, let's break down what your physical eyes do. So your physical eyes observe, they see, they look, they see in the 3D, they see what is in front of them. And so let's take the third eye chakra and just crank it up a couple of notches. It's still in the same realm where it's all about vision. So these eyes can see the physical. The third eye can see beyond the physical. It can read between the lines. It can read the essence of all of the underlying energy and information. What do I mean by that? So going all the way back, everything is energy. Every single thing is energy. We are all connected and swimming in this energetic soup. I call it divine intelligence. Some people call it God. Some people call it source. You can call it whatever you like, but it is that living force within every single living being on the planet. It is that beauty, love, intelligence that governs everything. And we are all part and parcel of it. And energy is full of information. Energy is always telling on itself. Energy has a personality, right? And just like you look at your pet, you look at your child, you look at your spouse or your partner, everybody has this energetic code that is very unique to them, right? And when your third eye is open, you can really read it. You can feel it, you can see it, you can read it, you can observe it, and you know that you can pick up the nuances and the uniqueness of all of it, right? And so with that said, we are all just these energy beings, and we're always receiving and broadcasting information simultaneously, sometimes more higher than the other, receiving and sending. But so I call this human antenna. So we are always in that state. And when you're more receptive, then you can read the energies more. And so this is where I live. This is what I do for a living. I read energy. So I was an English major. I read a lot of books. I use my eyes a lot. I use all my eyes a lot, right? So I read and tap into the energy of people, places, things. Everything is always telling on itself. Everything is always telling on itself. You can read energy. So here's the deal. With your physical eyes, you can see somebody talking to you or at you or whatever. You can see their mouth moving, blah, 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 blah. But your third eye will see the intention behind it, the real truth with a capital T, the real story. So your third eye is that thing that makes some people a human lie detector. Now, wouldn't you want to be a human lie detector? Well, we all have the capability. At one time, you were a really good lie detector when you were little, until culture and society told you to stop that and use your logical brain instead, which is fine. I love our logical brains as well, but there's a time and a place for everything. And I think it behooves us to really develop our psychic senses and our intuition more so that we can get to the bottom of things. We can get to the real truth of things and not being misled by gossip or urban legend or hearsay, but we would take that, we would know the information. That's what the third eye does. It takes it in and then it knows it. And then we process the trust. Do we trust this? Now, I trust my psychic information a lot more than the average person. And while you're here with me in psychic school, one of the side effects will be that you will trust your psychic senses more and more and more, because you will see evidence that this stuff is true, that this stuff works, that you are psychic beyond your knowing, right? All right. So the third eye chakra is the thing that gives you the ability to see beyond the 3D world into the 4th and 5th dimensions, right? So you have clear seeing. Next week and the weeks after, we're going to dive into the clairs, and we're going to see what your highest psychic sense is. Everybody's a little bit different, but they're all in tune with our everyday 5 senses. They're just like sight 2.0 or 3.0, I would probably say, where you can see in and not just at. So the reason that we're starting psychic school with the, knowing and talking about the third eye chakra is because it's the foundation. It is definitely the first place we have to start so that we can begin to embrace it, open it up, and explore what that really is. And so today we're just talking about it, and then come back on Thursday and we'll do psychic games and we'll do a third eye activation. And I'll show you some more tools and exercises to open your third eye chakra and to close it if you wanted to. I don't want to unless I'm sleeping. There's exercises for all of it. So Thursday at 2:00, come back, we'll do that. But today I want you to just kind of wrap your brain around what this third eye information is all about, especially for those of you who may have heard it and thought that it was something way out there and way mystical. It's really not, guys. Okay, so with your third eye chakra, you can tap into this collective conscious. You can channel, you can go and find places, you can have targets, see remote viewing, your clairvoyance, your imagination, all of this stuff is tied up with your third eye chakra. So we'll be doing some remote viewing in the future. We'll be putting all this stuff to the test and you'll start to see. But how I see the universe is that everything is energy, and it's kind of tied together with that. You think of an orange, think of an orange, the fruit. And when you peel it, there's a slight membrane still there, the white membrane. It's probably where all the nutrients are, a lot of them anyway. It keeps the orange together, right? And so how I see the universe, it's like the fascia of the universe, and we are all in that membrane. We are all connected by it. And so why wouldn't we be able to access, because it's energy, the information that's over there, or the information that's over there, or the information that's up there, or wherever it is, with just a little practice and targeting, we can go and read that info, gather some info. That's how people access the Akashic records. Nothing is off limits. Nothing is off limits. Everything is connected and readily available to whoever wants to go and check it out, and I understand that we are these spirit beings having this human experience, and we have our daily lives to do. So, we're not going to be doing this all the time. Primarily, I do it for a living, and so I have a framework around that, and then I teach it also. But it's not something that you ever have to be afraid that's going to take over your mind, because that part of your human condition is about, what are you going to eat? How are you going to stay warm? How, are your bills paid? You got to go pick up your kids at 3. We have these daily activities that keep us grounded. They keep us very grounded. So we'll talk about the other chakras that do that. We have many, but the primary 7. I say we have the 3 lowers that keep us very grounded, very human, very much in our human 3D world. And then we have our uppers, which keep us in the spirit world. And then we have the heart that connects both, right? So we're these integrated human beings. I think is the goal, to integrate the uppers with the lowers, and have a very practical / magical life. Right? To where we're still grounded, but we can see the magic in things. We can still make things happen. We can affect energy. And when you practice and get your third eye chakra going, you'll see that it is the place within you where you can really affect the outcome of things. You can affect energy by just merely thinking about something, by imagining it. It is a very rich environment in there. And one of the things that makes me kind of sad is that how, when kids are in school, that we kind of knock that out of them, and we teach them to, grow up and stop daydreaming, and pull your heads out of the clouds and get to work and focus. And I'm just about the opposite of that. It's like, no, put your head in the clouds. What do you want? There's so much more to this reality than just this, this 3D regimented world. And without accessing that part of us, I think it makes us very dull and boring, and life just gets to be very flat. So having all of it, working in unison, and going between each is the juicy stuff of life. And so that's why we're here. So let's talk about a healthy, open third eye and what that looks like. So when your third eye chakra is open and healthy, you have an open mind. You have vivid dreams. You can see the potential of people. You can see the potential of a situation. You tend to be a little bit more optimistic because you are more imaginative, and you can see all sides of a situation, right? You are, let's see, what else? There's just a levity about you, that just shows that all things are possible. You tend to see the glass half full instead of half empty. So you can definitely see the opposite of that when your third eye is blocked. A person with a blocked third eye is extremely limited in their reality. It's all they get is what you see is what you get, and that's it. There's no more. Black and white. Very, very dry. No possibilities. And typically a person with a blocked third eye has a very overdeveloped solar plexus chakra, which is the ego. And their ego just telling them that they already know everything, that there's nothing else for them to know. They are not coachable. They can't see beyond the front of their hands. That's the extreme end of a blocked third eye chakra. Yeah. So what you see is what you get. To me, that just does not sound like fun at all. I am much more interested in opening up my third eye and knowing that I do have some control over my own energy and influencing the energy around me and healing things and healing myself and being a visionary and seeing the blessings and seeing the potential of things. So why we're starting here and why the third eye is so important for psychic development and all of the gifts that it brings us are definitely one, enhanced intuition. So my work is all about intuition. Call it psychic, call it intuition. It's that internal GPS that I was talking about earlier. It is the answer to everything. And it's your connection to your higher self. It's your connection to spirit guides. It's your connection to this wisdom that is available to you instead of all that crazy misinformation, that blah, 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 that's coming out of people's pie holes, right? It's like, it's qualified. And here's one of the deals. When you hear the truth, when anybody hears the truth, they feel it. You resonate with it, right? And so that's one of the telltale signs that your third eye chakra is alive and well and open. Okay, so you have enhanced intuition. You're able to connect with the spirit world, which is a lot of part of the psychic experience that we'll be delving into as the weeks progress. Saying hello to your spirit guides, to your ancestors, to your higher self. Number 3 is that you will have an expanded consciousness and awareness. That's huge. That's big. So now you can observe. You can observe your own observations. You can expand your consciousness and see all of the different variables and potentials and have a much higher awareness than in this 3D realm, right? 4, you will be able to access your higher self and your inner wisdom. It just takes a little bit of practice for you to be able to tap into that because it's so readily available to you. It is you. It's the real you, the true you. So the only requirement, that has to happen in order to hear that is to quiet yourself. And we'll talk about all kinds of different ways to quiet your mind so that you can actually hear your higher self. You can hear that inner wisdom. You can tap into the universal story. You can tap into certain people. You can have conversations with your relatives who are past. You can have conversations with people in your life who are here now, but you don't want to have it face to face. There's so many different things and ways that you can use that third eye chakra to really improve your outcomes, to really influence and to bend energy. That's what I call it, just bending energy. Because here's the deal. People just look at what's coming at them and then they're like, we never have to be victims of what is coming at us. We can be the energy benders of them. So we can see what's here, we can see, and then we can take it into our mind's eye, into our third eye chakra, and we can transmute it. We can change it. We can change it into something that we would prefer. We'll do that exercise probably a couple more episodes in. So accessing that higher self and that inner wisdom, golden, right? And then one of the best side effects of all of this is awakening your imagination and your creativity. I really believe that that's where we live. And the imagination, that creative part of ourselves, for a lot of us have just been knocked out of us, just forgotten. And so when we start to play in our third eyes, our imaginations come back to life. Our creativity starts to bubble up again. And that creativity is going to be different for every single one of us. But in a lot of people, the imagination and the creativity, those faculties are lying dormant. And with this exercise, with this exploration, with playing the psychic games and doing the experiments and trying all this stuff on, you are going to wake that part of yourself up. So if you stick with this, you can expect an up-leveling of your psychic development, or even a psychic awakening if you have been asleep. And it's okay if you've been asleep. The world has put a lot of people to sleep. And so it's time to wake up and to see our true potential and our amazing abilities of creation. So this Thursday in 2 days, join me, come back here, and let's do the third eye activation. And I'll show you how to leverage it, how to get into it, how to turn it on and off at will, so that you are in charge of it, so that you start to have a relationship with your third eye chakra and all your chakras eventually. But we're starting with the third eye for this particular journey and this big adventure of psychic development. And I can guarantee you that when you keep coming back and you keep applying the theory and then the practices of all of these psychic topics, you will trust yourself. You will trust yourself, and you won't trust anybody else. You'll only trust yourself. It's kind of a good place to come from. You will see and you will know the truth with a capital T. No more confusion. No more of that wishy-washy confusion. You will be able to read the energy of people, places, and things. This is where I live. I love reading the energy of people, places, and things. To me, it is so entertaining. And it's very full of information. It's very helpful. I want you to be able to read between the lines and then eventually become one of those human lie detectors, right? A lot of you already are, and you don't even know why. So stick around and we'll figure out why that is. It's not so woo-woo. It's very practical stuff. But when we leverage this practical part of our human condition, the magic happens. All right, so that's where I want to leave you. I want to leave you with this potential of magic in your life, sparked by you, sparked by opening your third eye chakra, saying yes to this adventure, and then coming back on Thursday for your third eye activation. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. It was fun. I look forward to seeing you back here on Thursday, and then every Tuesday and every Thursday for more psychic school, followed up by psychic games. All right, guys, take good care. I'll see you Thursday. Bye for now.